Tests. They're something that every student dreads but still has to take. Well, today I'm going to teach you how to dominate and ace your tests. What's going on, guys? It's Nick from Mindful Mastery, where I help you master your mind. Today we're looking at tests. Now, every student has to take tests, and they are very annoying to take, but they are very important in assessing what you know and actually increasing the knowledge that you have, because recalling the information on the tests will help to cement that into your memory. So let's get right into it with tip number 1. Know the information. Now, this isn't simply just remembering the information because you crammed the night before. You want to make sure that you don't cram for your tests, because this leaves your brain overwhelmed with the information that you just plugged into it the night before. Now, I know it is kind of difficult to actually know the information and have it more to heart whenever you are in school and you don't really have that much time to know the information. But what you want to try to do is kind of space the repetition out for your studying. So you'll study one day for 30 minutes and then do another day the next day, and then wait another 2 days and then do it, and then another 4 days and then study, and then another 6 days, and you get the idea. And by spacing it out, it helps to increase the amount of time that you have between it, which will give you time to start forgetting it, but you'll study it right whenever you're about to forget it, and then you will have better ability to remembering it the next time. So since there isn't a lot of time to keep doing this, another thing that you can do is go and talk to one of your classmates about the information. Now, this will help you in helping to understand a different perspective on the information that you wouldn't have had otherwise, and it'll help to create deeper neurological connections. This is especially true whenever you disagree on something, because there'll be a sense of tension between you and that other person, which will help create a better connection in your memory because there'll be more emotion attached to it. Then on any of your homework or on a study guide that you're given, if you don't understand something, then go and try and seek help to try and understand it. You can go to a study group or your professor, but just hearing a different perspective on the information will help you to actually know the information better and might click certain things for you in helping to make you realize how that answer makes sense, or what the answer is, or something along those lines. Tip number 2, do the hard questions first. So whenever you start the test, that's whenever your brain is at its freshest point that it will be at. So you want to make sure that you go through the test and then try and identify the hard questions and try and knock those out first. But if you start to get stuck on them, then do it for a couple of minutes and then move on to a different one, an easier one, or another hard one that you had identified. This will do 2 things. It'll allow your brain to go into diffused thinking, so you will still work on it subconsciously while you are looking at the other problems, as well as whenever you're looking at those other problems, there might be something in those problems that kind of clicks or triggers information that will help you to actually answer the other question. Tip number 3, double check your work. Now, I know this is probably preached to you a lot. I get it. It was preached to me a lot, and I still don't do it that often. But honestly, out of the questions that I get wrong, probably 80% of them I actually knew, and if I'd gone back and double checked, then I probably would have gotten them right. So that is why this is so important. And if you actually go and do this, then you'll probably end up getting about 50% less questions wrong because you went back and checked to make sure. So what you want to do is go to every question and ask yourself, does this make sense? And after you figure that out, then you can move on to the next one, but just make sure that each one makes sense before you get to the next one. Tip number 4, master your test anxiety. there are so many smart people that don't do well on tests because of their test anxiety. Now, it's not necessarily a bad thing, so that's why you want to make sure that you master it. I have test anxiety, but it doesn't overwhelm me. It actually is just mild, so it helps to induce a state of focus whenever I'm taking the test, so I'll actually do better on it. So what you want to do is whenever you're taking a test, tell yourself, I'm not anxious, I am excited. And over time, if you keep telling yourself this, then your body will become what you tell it to become. So whenever you tell it that it's excited, then instead of getting anxious, you will start to get excited for the test, and the anxious feelings will start to go away, and you'll start to look forward to the test more. The next thing that you want to do is take deep breaths whenever you start to get that anxious feeling. Now, I know this is probably common for a lot of people, but it really does help to slow down your heart rate and help you calm down a lot. The other thing I want you to do is before the test, I want you to visualize yourself taking the test and try to be as descriptive and get as much detail as you can as possible, and try to imagine what questions might be on that test and imagine yourself doing really well on it. This will do two things. First, it will help you to feel more confident about taking that test, and secondly, it will help to increase your knowledge about the test and the information itself, because by creating the questions for it, then it'll help to create deeper neurological connections for the test. Tip number 5, get enough sleep. I can't say it enough, a rested brain is a happy, healthy, and well-functioning brain, so make sure you get enough sleep the night before the test. If you don't and you come in sleep deprived, then your brain will be working very inefficiently and you'll probably be pretty groggy. So make sure that you get enough sleep the night before if you want to do well on the tests. Those are my 5 tips for how to ace your tests. I know they are pretty basic or common. You've probably heard them a lot and people have preached them to you a lot. But there is a reason for that, because they are so important. So don't just ignore them because they are common. Try to adapt them to your lives. I know double checking your work is very boring and tedious, and actually knowing the information and studying over a long period of time is very hard to get yourself to do, but doing it will help you do so much better on tests. Thank you guys for watching today. I hope you learned something, and keep mastering your mind.